Hi guys, what's up? Today I'm going to show you guys how to install sway bar bushings and end links to your car or truck. The truck that I will be installing these on is a 1990 Ford Bronco. This will be identical to any Ford truck 1980 to 1996 Ford truck or even Econoline van. But the process will be pretty similar for any other car or truck out there. And I'll show you how to actually diagnose your bushings or end links and seeing if you need to actually replace them or not. Now, if your car or truck is having like a noise coming from the front end, like a thumping noise or a clanking, sometimes maybe even like a rattle, it's usually due to a bad bushing right there. Those are the sway bar bushings, and those will go bad from wearing out with the bar going back and forth constantly. And then the end links would be located right there. Those are the end links. And again, they're rubber. There'll be rubber on the inside, and the part that really goes bad is the rubber. I recommend the parts that you want to replace your car with to be original to your manufacturer. So if you have a Honda, get a Honda part. In my case, I have a Ford, so I purchased these Ford parts. These are for the Ford trucks 1980 to 1996. And for the bushings, they no longer make them, they're discontinued. But I do recommend Moog. It's a very good quality brand. You can see here they're made in USA. To diagnose your front sway bar or stabilizer bar, if you have the noise coming from, let's say, the driver's side, since this bar connects the driver wheel to the passenger wheel, and your noise is coming from the driver's side, take your car or truck and drive it over a bumpy road on, let's say, just the passenger side. So have the passenger side wheel hit all the bumps. If you hear the noise coming from the driver's side, that'll tell you it's the sway bar bushings or end links. I recommend to replace both the bushings and the end links at the same time, since they're both made out of rubber and they're probably the same age. Let's get started. I'll show you guys how to replace them. Really easy process. Now, the tools you're going to need for this job are very simple tools. You need an 18mm wrench, a 3/4. Now, you actually need two 18s, but I don't actually have another 18, so you might be able to come up with a socket or whatnot, but the 3/4 I felt actually used pretty good because I just needed to hold a nut into place. You need a ratchet, an extension, and a 15mm socket. Now again, this is for the application for this F150 or Bronco van truck from Ford. For your car and truck, the tools are going to be very similar. It's really a very similar process. So let's jump right into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on my passenger side. Again, luckily I don't actually have to lift my car or truck. This one's already high enough to where I can actually just crawl underneath it and go to town. So if you need to lift yours, lift yours. I'm going to start off on the passenger side, and I'll show you how to get this off real easily. So this is the end link here, and these are the two bolts that hold it into place. So I'm going to put my 18 on this side, and I'm going to give it a whacking just to get it to move a little bit. Then I'm going to put my 3/4 here, or if you have another 18, put your 18 here, hold this in place while you loosen this nut. Okay, so after you've removed your first bolt, I keep the bolt here in place just to hold, just to give it support, the end link, just to kind of keep it there. So remove the nut and work on your next bolt right here. Now this nut is going to have a washer on it, so make sure you make a note of that. Now the way this is designed, this bolt will not come out. As you can see, the shock is in the way. So what I do here is I just take the top bolt out, and then I slide out the end link like that. And you can see how bad this one is. See how really worn out that rubber is? Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to slide the end link onto the bottom bolt, and then we'll fit it into the housing here, and then slide the top bolt in like that. Bottom bolt. Now remember, the top bolt didn't have a washer on it. It's just the nut. So just screw that in. Just like that. And then put the washer on the bottom. And the nut. And now tighten it down. Make sure they're nice and tight. Same process on this side. Take off both nuts. Washer. And use the same technique. Remove the top bolt. And slide the end link out. Install your new end link. And tighten them down. Okay, now let's move on to the sway bar bushings. You can see here it's just two bolts. This one here, and then this clamp comes down, bushing slides out. So I'll show you how to do that right now. This is where you're going to come and use your ratchet. Now for me, I'm going to actually have to use a deep wall socket. This bolt was actually a little longer than I expected. So here's my deep wall, 15 millimeter. Okay, I'm going to have to use a 13 millimeter to hold the bolt from the top. I'm sorry I didn't mention that from the beginning. I just did another truck just like this, and it didn't have a bolt. What it was a bracket that had these two studs stuck into the bracket, and it came down like a horseshoe. So they guess they must have changed it. It was a different year. It was a 95 truck, and this is a 1990. So I'm assuming that was a body style change revision. Now pull the bracket down, and here's your sway bar bushing here. What you want to do is just open it up here, pull it out. See, that's pretty worn there. It's not even keeping a true shape anymore. You're going to want to clean your sway bar here. Just clean it up real nice. I'll use degreaser to clean this one. Just going to clean the general area on where the new bushing is going to be resting on. So to measure your sway bar, make sure you get the correct size bushing for your sway bar. Just get a crescent wrench, close it in on the sway bar like that, and then measure it with the tape measure, the opening on the crescent wrench. So in my case, this is a 1-inch sway bar. So now get your new bushing and face the opening towards the front. Slip it onto your sway bar, open it up, like that, turn it, and put it underneath where it should go here. Opening should be facing the front of the vehicle, and I do not put any grease inside. These are rubber bushings, so I don't recommend putting any grease here. It's going to degrade the rubber. If you're using poly bushings, you might be able to get away with it. See what the manufacturer says of the bushings, but for the regular rubber ones, it's recommended that you do not grease them. So let's install this now. Just get the nut on the first bolt just like that. Keep it a little loose just so you'll be able to put the second bolt in. Once you have the nut on the second bolt, tighten them down, but not fully. Keep them a little loose just in case you want to make any adjustments when you get to the other side of the sway bar bushing. You might want to move the sway bar a little bit left and right. So just snug it up like that on both sides. Okay, that looks good. Let's do the other side now. Again, clean the bar with some degreaser. Install the new bushing. Put on the bracket, bolt, once you have the brackets in and snug down like this, if both sides are nice and lined up, go ahead and torque them down. Alright guys, so we successfully installed the sway bar bushings and end links. It's a pretty easy and straightforward process. Really just a couple of simple tools that you can get from your hardware store if you don't have them. Basic tools, really just a couple of wrenches and a ratchet would really helps. You can even just do it all with a wrench. It'll just take you a little bit longer. I'll show you the old parts, what they look like. Here are the old parts here, and you can tell they are in bad shape. So I'm glad I was actually able to get this done. Really low cost. These bushings aren't too expensive. You know, 20 bucks for the pair, and you'll spend maybe about 50 bucks for the end links. So this does it for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching.